Okie dokie. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Pink Rhythmic, also known as Tracy. And yeah, welcome back to my channel. If you like these videos, hopefully you could maybe follow, click subscribe if you want. Yeah. So before we start this video, I'm going to just quickly talk about what I've been up to and what I haven't posted in 3 months. So, I am graduating in 2 months. Yeah. Oh my god, why is my nose cuff being weird? Like, girl, if you don't stay in your place. But yeah, today, before we start, let's acknowledge the outfit. I tried to look on Google where this is from. I thrifted this and I could not find where it was from. I got this from a artist in Taormina, or if you really don't want to acknowledge that Sicily is its own country, Italy, I guess. Franco Canada. I literally love his work, so I'm going to, you know, tag that somewhere. And yeah, thrifted this somewhere, I don't know. Got this on Etsy, makeup, and yeah. If you guys know where this is from, this is what the print looks like. Let me know. And yeah. So, I am graduating in 2 months, high school to be exact. So that is one of the main reasons why I haven't been posting. Yeah, it's been a lot, and honestly, it's not even nowhere close. It feels like I have a long way to go. So yeah, but I am excited to finally get high school over with. Hopefully this summer I'll be able to post more. And then not only that, 2 weeks ago I went to Italy. Yes. And I will post a video about my experience in Italy. I was only there for a week through a school trip, but I'm going to talk about my experiences, the ups and downs, the good and the bad, and yeah. So yeah, overall I've been kind of busy, and then not only that, I work and I'm gonna have to pick up more shifts, so hopefully I will be able to post more content for you guys. And yeah, so my nose is like, but yeah, I'm so happy to be recording something. Oh my god, it's been forever. Today we are going to be talking about the rebranding, or quote-unquote cleaning, of subcultures. I'm not sure how I'm gonna title this video, but like, let's get it. Remember when it was March of 2020? Depending on your age at the time, we were all told that there was only going to be a 2-week break from school. But obviously, it did not last 2 weeks. And soon, those 2 weeks became 3 years. The lockdown impacted everyone, from adults to children to teenagers and even babies that were born during this time. Everyone was isolated, and we all sought asylum and human connection through social media. Around this time, Musical.ly was rebranded into TikTok, and it was practically what all kids used to socialize at the time. Around this time, the way we socialize changed, almost as if there was a blur of real and internet connections. Due to all of us being stuck at home, in some ways we branched out in ways that we usually wouldn't have prior to the or panini. Oh my god, am I gonna get my video taken down? Okay, guys wore eyeliner, crop tops, even maid outfits. Kids wore alternative outfits. People were more interested and educated on gender identity, pronouns, and world issues. And generally speaking, we became bold in ways that prior to this historic event wouldn't have ever occurred. Fast forward to now, 2025, we are now fully integrated into society and its standards. And practically, little by little, people have been diluting aesthetics, subcultures, communities, etc. into more palatable and digestible visuals, thus fitting into social norms, standards that completely go against the subculture's initial message and meaning to begin with. But before we delve into it, let's discuss some notorious examples that drive this point home. And that is the basis of what this video will be about today. Gyaru. If you have been on TikTok for some time, you might have heard this term. Gyaru is a Japanese subculture that emerged from the 1970s, peaked in the 1990s, through the early 2000s, emerging with the intention of a youth fashion style, lifestyle, and movement. Just like any subculture, there's many subcultures of Gyaru, from Mamba Gyaru, Himekaji, Raku Gyaru, Genguro, which means old school, and Gyaro, which means male Gyaru, Himegao, Kogao, and more. At the time, and even now, honestly, Japan had very harsh beauty standards, ranging from pale skin, dark hair, a dainty frame, and an even more quote-unquote innocent and reserved character was what was deemed ideal for Japanese women to be at the time. Due to these standards, Gyaru emerged to counteract that. Generally speaking, with this subculture, it pushes for dark tan skin, dyed blonde hair, bold makeup, and a bold and outspoken personality. Although, depending on which substyle, this is not the case for every single substyle, and there can be variations. An example of this could be Himekaji. Anyways, all of this goes to practically go against every ideal standard. It died down around the 2000s, but since 2020, there has been an exponential growth and revival of the style in the West specifically, mainly thanks to the help of the application TikTok. Since then, in some ways, the modern revival of this subculture has been good and bad, allowing people to discuss and have conversations on topics that they believe are wrong or certain outdated ideas that shouldn't be allowed. An example of this is discussing or acknowledging the influence that African American culture had with inspiring Gyaru, especially Mamba Gyaru, as you can see with long nails and dark skin.
This is why we, black Gyarists, say that Gyaru is inspired by black women, or at least has some black culture influence. When black women started doing nails like these, they were deemed as ghetto tacky and professional, because they excessive, long, colorful, and had many accessories. Little did everyone know, they were only setting the trend for everyone else. And that includes the style Gyaru, where having long, colorful, with excessive charms are an essential in the style. Something that would be deemed ghetto on BW. Harutamu from Black Diamond, now Lolo, was a huge example of the nail trend. Fuki Tanaka from Lolo is also a big example. But more modernly, you cannot gatekeep a style from the people who helped put it together. Ghetto until proven fashionable.
For those who said Gyaru
At some point in the past, I remember seeing many videos surfacing discussing how dark should a non-black person be allowed to tan, and if wearing box braids just because you're trying to dress in this way is okay. And just generally speaking, TikTok has allowed to open doors for conversations about cultural appropriation and other things of that manner. But obviously, with the revival of the subculture, it also opened gates for toxicity, which honestly that could be discussed in a whole nother video on its own if you guys are interested in me covering that. But moreover, generally speaking, let's talk about what this video is about, and that is clean Gyaru. Yes, that is a thing somehow. Oftentimes, when something trends on TikTok, people might think it's a new fashion trend of sorts, thus watering down the meaning of something that was created with good intent. You might be wondering, well, why is it that serious, or this is such a non-issue, which is something that a lot of people on the internet say. However, me personally, I believe that just because something isn't a world conflict or something that's like an issue, a grand scale issue, does not mean that people are not allowed to share their opinion or have passion about said topic. When people on TikTok talk about things in this way and dismiss anyone having an opinion or concern or idea, we don't realize that we're enabling the inability of having empathy, sympathy, or even just trying to care about anything that isn't quote-unquote directly affecting us. Moreover, TikTok has been known to water, rename, and rebrand aesthetics, subcultures, and even communities to nothing more than mere trends. More examples of this being VK being renamed into older Brothercore, Gyaru turning into clean Gyaru, Kogal turning into preppy Gyaru, Himekaji slash Himegal turning into coquette Gyaru, or I even heard of someone calling it shoujo, like shoujo princess aesthetic, something like that. Raku Gyaru turning into emo Gyaru, and more. And there's even many sites and sources outside of TikTok where people that are into this subculture discuss how they feel. I saw a post on Everskies where I'm gonna post it right here, where it talks about how people feel against it, and that honestly you can take inspiration from Gyaru and take some traits that you like, and it's all fine and dandy as long as you're not claiming that it's Gyaru or it's a different kind of very creative variation of it that goes against its just message. You know what I mean? Like no one's saying you cannot wear some leg warmers and wear long nails and wear hair extensions. No one's saying you can't do that. But when you take something that already exists and rename it into some corny TikTok trend, that's when a lot of people of these subcultures kind of get upset and then don't agree with what you're doing. And another example that I also want to talk about as well is, for example, like if you go on TikTok and you look up goth or clean goth or conservative goth, these are all things that clearly go against the message of what goth was created to be, because a lot of people forget that goth has a lot of political, social, and just like different types of messages and just beliefs that go into it. You cannot just be a quote-unquote goth for the aesthetic. And it's another example, like when you look up on TikTok, people water things down and just make it into this like Pilates, Stanley drinking, just with like a dark shirt, and it's like, girl, that's not what goth is, like, you know. Now, conclusion. It is a shame when things that once had a message, a meaning behind them, of encouraging others to be themselves, break social norms, and so on, become mainstream to a point, becomes renamed, rebranded, and watered down to become palatable to the media, and once again fitting into social norms that they worked hard to fight against. Hi, editing me here. I don't know why, but I was thinking about why do some of these subcultures kind of get repackaged to become more palatable to a larger mass of people. And I don't know if I'm going to explain this well, but I feel like a part of it is the fact that once we became reintegrated into society, I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like Gen Z, although we fought so hard to quote unquote fight beauty standards, I feel like we are rapidly succumbing to them, especially now, now that skinny's back in. I see videos of people wishing they were like pale and all these different things, and people are even being more open with racial discrimination and all these different things. And you're probably wondering where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is that I believe that people are kind of toning themselves down because they don't want to quote unquote look unattractive in these styles and subcultures, because it's not like, oh, people that are Gyaru or goth are unattractive. It's more like they are not the beauty standard, and people want to be part of something but also be part of the beauty standard. So that is kind of possibly why things are getting watered down, because like there's just so many things that I've seen in general, and we couldn't even talk about this with Black culture. There's so many aspects of especially African American culture where people take something that has like a cultural meaning behind it and they will rename it, like edges, they were renamed sticky bangs, and like just different things that people of different cultures do all the time, and people just kind of take it over and rename it because it's not cool because it's this group, or it's not cool because it doesn't fit the beauty standard, it doesn't fit what we're trying to promote. You know what I'm saying? Or like, for example, like a lip liner, right? It was like a thing that a lot of African Americans and Latinas did, and people renamed it into glazed lips or something. I know I'm like talking all over the place, but I feel like generally speaking, when we think about it in a more deeper level, there's kind of a connection to it, you know? Like, for example, like, I feel like, for example, with the whole e-girl craze that happened in 2020, I feel like people, like, they kind of took goth and try to make it in a way that appealed to the male gaze, if that makes any sense. And I feel like in general, that's kind of what's happening, especially with teenage girls. And even with teenage boys, they want to fit the beauty standard. They want to fit what you feel like you're supposed to fit. So they take these aesthetics and they change them and mold them and water them down in a way that fits. But yeah, bye. I hope you guys like this video. Please hit like and subscribe. And if there's any topics or themes that you guys want me to talk about or discuss in a future video, please let me know down below, and I will gladly make a video talking about anything. So yeah, thank you for watching this far. Have a great day. Bye.